Guys, if you haven't already, make sure to follow the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It helps us more than you could imagine.
Yeah, man. No, that's crazy. Here's an idea on the topic of UFC. Does anyone else want to or keen to see? And I could do this for a potential Olympics as well, but just roided up Olympics and UFC. Like, you just accept two absolute meatheads that are just clearly juiced to the gills, and they just scrap it out.
No,
I'd like to see that.
Or get two like labs that are just like the top tier drugs, and then find like the two best potential athletes, and then get them in and put them on a proper like designated like plan of just the top tier roids, like
the best of the best,
the optimal roid plan,
and see what you can do. Like Captain America, when they put him in that machine.
Yes,
that'd be in real life. Just do that.
I'm really surprised that like this has never been tried and done.
It's
a great idea.
It's illegal.
No, but it's like.
No, I know what you mean.
You could pull it off without it.
Mate, a lot of professional sport, a lot of it, like especially athletics.
They already got them. Everyone's already juiced anyway.
Absolutely riddled with it.
Anyone watch the movie Icarus?
Yeah.
The thing. I mean, that. Have you ever watched it?
Is that
it's one of the best documentaries of all time?
It's like
about
cyclists?
It's
like government funded.
Okay,
like
I've heard about it, but I haven't watched it.
One of the best documentaries of all time. Essentially, this guy called Brian Fogel. He goes and he sets off. He wanted to see how steroids, because sort of like what you just mentioned. He sort of.
I think he was trying to copy Lance Armstrong's protocol, didn't he?
And he's doing like this cycling thing, and he's just trying to see how much better he can get at cycling by banging these roids, and he does it for a bit, and he sees a bit of improvement, but nothing quite yet, and then it just takes the biggest left turn of all time, and he ends up getting into this spider web of how Russia were just absolutely cheating their way through the Olympics.
It's like government sponsored. The government literally forcing their athletes onto these programs to do. Yeah, they're paying for all of it, and then the main guy that's in charge of it, the Russian guy, like flees the country, and he's like hiding in this guy's
He's
like,
mates
house.
with this Brian Vogel guy, and he's out there, and now he's in witness protection. The guy's now in witness protection.
The guy from the main guy from the
because he outed the whole thing.
He's like this Russian scientist, and because he's helping this guy with his. He's like, I hope you with your Lance Armstrong protocol. And then it comes out that he's the head of this like whole organization doing this drug thing, and he leaves the country and comes over and he's being like.
So it started out as a small documentary. He's just trying to see what steroids will do.
And it ends up being the biggest expose like ever. Yeah.
That sounds like a belter. Is that like on Netflix?
Yeah, mate. It's one of the best documentaries I've ever watched. I highly recommend anyone to go watch it. He actually just came out with another documentary called Dissident, but that's another one for you need to watch that. We'll go over that one. That one's all about the Saudi Arabia. Have you watched that one? Dissident? I'd recommend that as well. I watched it. But yeah, no, the Icarus stuff. I might bang roids. I think I'll do roids.
Give it a go, bro. Let's see what
I want to be the guinea pig. I'll be the
I think you want like that's the biggest. I know you're doing tongue in cheek here, but like generally speaking, I think people now, you get kids that are like 17 that will start taking drugs. You know what I mean? And or someone who's been training for like 6 months. You're like, at least give it a chance.
Come on, let's see where you're
first. Yeah.
Well, surely, doesn't it make sense to naturally take yourself realistically to the where you get
close.
to?
At least give it a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Get to the point where you're like, oh yeah, do you know what? I'm never gonna be massive, so at least you're giving it a bit of a chance.
And then Roy sort of like unlocks this new level.
Well, you get kids that aren't even eating enough food. You're like, well, you're not even eating enough food. What's the point in? Do you know what I mean? It's like kids that go and take like protein, but they're eating like 100 calories a day. Like you get that right first, then. If you've been training for a long time, and fair enough, you want to give it a go to fill your boots, but like at least give it a chance first.
Because it wouldn't work. Like if me and Chip just bang roids, we'd just get saggy breasts.
Is that like one of the main side effects?
Nah, well, I think
you would get bigger. Like,
do you reckon?
So you
even if I wasn't properly,
it just fucks your hormones. So it just gives you the capacity just to do so much more. So you could just train. So like, just recovery is ridiculous. Like you can just do so much more. Do you know what I mean? But then the problem is, this is the biggest thing for me is like if you started doing it, where do you go from there?
Yeah.
Because like at some point you're going to stop, then you're going to get weak and small, and it's going to be depressing and shit. Do you know what I mean? So like,
and it does look shit as well.
Backing yourself into a corner. Do you know what I mean? Like that where'd you go from there? And also like you could just die. Like you could just have a react. You could just be unlucky and just take something weird or just
so inconvenient.
Very inconvenient, and also not great for the podcast either.
Yeah, it's true.
But I think you know what? I don't mind. The thing is, I was saying to Joe, and I would never do it just because I don't think I don't actually care enough about.
It'll be a 6 series.
But it would. This is what I'm saying.
I think as well.
Someone needs to do it, right?
Man, there's a lot of guys. A lot of the fitness
fitness community is riddled with it. But I've got a rant about that.
There are a few guys that do it openly and like document it.
And I rate that.
The problem is though, YouTube won't let you. So you have to do it in a fun. You have to do it in a clever way, a bit of a.
They won't let you be like.
Way. You can't openly say, oh, "This is my drugs," because you'll get the video will be like flagged. So you've got to do it in a bit of a, like a.
I took my vitamins today.
Yeah, exactly
like that. Yeah,
there are a few channels that do it that openly document their drug taking. It is because if you're doing that, you need to know that's a skill, right? Understanding how that works. Like there are coaches that specialize in drugs. Coaching athletes that are on drugs, because that is a. How do you even know where to start? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is what I've always said. I've said, like, I have absolutely no problem with anybody. If you want to do roids, mate, more power to you. But what I think you need to do, I think you just need to disclose it. Yeah. If you disclose it, I could get, and in fact, I'll be more invested because I'll be there. I want to see this monster.
Ideally, but it's not even that. It's like don't be deliberately misleading. So there are people,
or don't say you're natural. I guess
there are people. Yeah, exactly that. Or don't try and profit on it. There are people that say, oh yeah, this is my training program. Like I'm natural. It's my program. You can buy it if you want. Like, but they're taking drugs. That's deliberately misleading because the insinuation is that doing my plan will make you look like me, but actually I'm taking drugs. So you know what I mean, so it's misleading. Yeah. Ironically, in reality, it doesn't matter because I don't take drugs, right? But I've got pretty decent genetics, So you could do my plan and you won't look like me. So like in a way, that's also misleading, but that's just up to you, right?
Mate, that's genetics.
But the drug thing is like because you are deliberately you're going and taking those drugs, and then you're not disclosing it whilst trying to capitalize. So I mean, if you're just the average person, you take them. You don't have to go and tell everyone, but. Like you said, you shouldn't say I'm not taking them because that is misleading, and it's like just. Well,
I think even if it's to the point where you're selling your workout and being like, oh, you want an upper chest like this? Yeah. Do this. Is there like, okay, your exercise might help develop your upper chest, but you certainly ain't gonna be looking like that.
That's the thing as well, is that like people are stupid, so they'll follow like a massive bodybuilder who is taking a shit ton of drugs, and they see this guy doing like. Either in the gym for 6 hours doing 400 chest exercises. You can't do that because you're not. They can do it because they're taking so many drugs. Their resilience and their recovery is ridiculous. If you do that, you're just going to disintegrate. You can't do it. So if you're training, most in fact all top level bodybuilders, they're all on drugs, right? So they can handle that training volume because of that. You can't do that. So don't copy what they're doing because it's not going to work for you.
It's not possible. Yeah. It's so interesting. I have this one Donny on TikTok, right? Yeah. And he pops up on my page, but I can't stop watching him. He does like they're natty or not. Right, and the reasons for people being like natural or not are just so funny. He just like they come up with like the weirdest things. It's like, I saw this guy, and he was on a night out, but he wasn't actually drinking any alcohol, and that leads me to believe that he's definitely on a cycle right now. It's like, what if the guy just doesn't drink alcohol?
Yeah, no, it's true.
That's a whole like YouTube niche.
It's so weird.
Part of me is like, fair enough. Like I can understand it does well, so do it. But like, what I take issue with is when people that do it in like a shitty, lazy, like you said there. Like if you're going to present legit arguments and you say like I don't know, but I reckon this guy is for these reasons and it's legit. Fair enough. It's different either saying I know this guy's on because that's you don't know that, and also like you said, presenting shit arguments. Like essentially, most of it comes down to he's quite big. He looks pretty good. He's big. He's on drugs. That's it. Like. What you can't. Do you know what I mean? If you see like an attractive person, you wouldn't assume they've had like cosmetic surgery. Do you know what I mean? Someone with like a massive dick, you wouldn't assume they've had like a penis enlargement. That wouldn't come to your mind. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, why is it that someone's big? They must be on. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's true. It's true.
Do you remember the whole Tfue debate? You familiar with Tfue?
Yeah. Made a pretty sick transformation.
It was it looked sick, and he had like
so many people.
He had like
questioning
10, 20 fitness YouTubers, maybe American ones, all making videos on is Tfue.
Yeah, because what happens is one of them will do it, and then all the rest of them, the little weasels that just goes around the little cycle, to make it the same. It's just an easy win, isn't it? Like
an easy views.
Yeah, and you had so many like being like, he's definitely on it, and then you had other ones coming out being like, no, here's the reasons he's not.
So I genuinely think being accused of doing steroids and not have been doing them might be one of the most irritating things of all time. You've had it. Yeah.
It's eased off now because my content isn't like completely
fitness.
So if I do like a video where I do like a bench press PB, then it will come back. Or I'll do a big Instagram post where I look shredded, right? Like right now I'm not mega lean, so like I'm not doing that many like topless shots. But if you do a shot where you look sick, everyone's like, oh, you're on drugs. You know what I mean? So it kind of comes in like cycles. To be honest, like I don't really care. Like I'm
not anymore.
No, like so like. Two things I think, right? Firstly, the first thing I think is that the majority of accusations are being leveled by people who are either morons, like extremely low IQ, like so they're not really coming from an informed position, or they're like 12-year-old kids in their like mum's basement, they've never trained before, they're just following a trend. Right. So like, but also like, if you're if you are motivated to go on seek out someone's video, and then write like an overtly negative comment, like that's quite weird. Do you know what I mean? It's quite a weird thing to do. Like,
you're a knob.
I kind of feel sorry for that person. Like they might, you know what I mean? Imagine your life like being in a position whereby you feel the urge to go and write something negative about someone in a comment. Like you probably have
not
a
only
shit
that,
life.
but I think it's more of a mirror than anything. It's like ultimately this person is projecting their insecurities and the fact that they maybe either weren't as dedicated or whatever it was back onto themselves.
So I just, I mean, to be honest, a lot of times I feel sort of, I picture that person having they probably have a shit life, so I kind of feel sorry for them, you know.
Yeah.
But like, you can't win. Do you know what I mean? Like I could do, like I've done drugs. I could do a drug test every day, like for my entire life. People will still say, "Oh, you did this or you done that." Like end of the day, you can't win. Do you know what I mean? I don't really.
It was like the Russian scandal. The way they did it, they would pass through the urine through a gap in the wall, and it would go through.
That's the other big thing now, is especially at that level, like the elite, like I said, athletics. That level, the people that are making the drugs are ahead of the testers. So every time they bring out a new test,
always will be.
They'll have a new way of getting around it, a masking thing or timing or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? And they have like the thing where it's like random tests. So when you're an athlete, you have to say in the UK you have to say, right, in the next 12 months you have to give, I think it's like 3 locations and 3 times, which is you have to say, oh, in 9 months I'm going to be in this place at this time, which is like ridiculous. But if they turn up, they can turn up at that time. And if you're not there on the 3rd occasion, that goes down as a failed test. So like it looks like you've been taking drugs, even though you've just not been there. But basically, you could easily manipulate it and, do you know what I mean, avoid being detected. But like that's another big problem, is that even if you pass a drug test, like so in powerlifting, in the main federation, the IPF, there are guys that probably are on drugs that are competing in a drug-free federation because they've managed to get around it.
Yeah,
but
it's always going to be like that. It's competition, right?
Do you know what I mean? Like, don't just get over it. Do you know what I mean? Like, just people that obsess over. I understand. Again, that content that like bangs, right? So I can understand why you do it, and also. I feel like people get on board with negative stuff more.
Oh, of course.
You get a proper drama. Those guys are a proper hardcore following of like weird little people that love it and like jump on board. And so they're almost stuck, because if one of those guys came out and said, "Oh, I think Matt's natural," they'd get hammered. So they have to do that because their audience wants to hear that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't want to hear.
They don't want to hear that he's natural.
Do you know what I mean? So that's
no fun.
They're kind of stuck. So you understand it, but still, it's like it is a bit annoying. But it is
interesting. So right, Chip, you're going to be the guinea pig for our little steroid experiments.
Steroid 10,000 calories a day.
Whack it in me, lads. Let's have it.
Trend up the nostrils.
Yeah,
every day.
Psalms or whatever it is. See that
Psalms,
one on TikTok?
that's the one. That's the LA boy.
Yeah, I keep seeing this like one TikTok, and every now and then it'll come up, and it's like if you're seeing this, is this a sign for one cycle?
Yeah. They're like promoted. They're like, this is, if you've ever been thinking about doing roids, this is your sign. Yeah. Do it. And then they're like, no. What am I? Next video. What is this?